Today's guest, Mr. Beast, the #1 action figure in America.
How do we normally do? We normally do an intro.
We normally start with you say some words, you mention that I exist, and then I mention a company that we're sponsored by that we're not actually sponsored by. This week, it's Old Bay.
This week we're sponsored by Old Bay.
Because it's from Maryland.
This week we're sponsored by Old Bay. Crab season is not in, but you can still buy the Old Bay chips.
True.
I love Old Bay.
Old Bay is fantastic.
Old Bay is basically just celery salt.
Yeah.
It tastes like celery salt. That's what it tastes like.
What's that?
I was just about to ask. What the is celery salt? I want some Old Bay chips.
Back in the motherland.
The motherland, the Smibville. We're from Smibland. Is that really a slur that people hate?
I mean, there's not very many people there to get offended by it, so
yeah. How could you be offended by that, anyways? Smib, you're a Smib.
If we offend 100 people, I'm okay with that.
We're offending the people of Southern Maryland by calling them Smibs.
They're hardly even people.
What's that? It's right behind us! These are my papers again!
Welcome to another episode of Spooky Skeletons Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb, and this is your other host, Clint.
Hello.
We're related.
We are.
We're cousins. Oh, yeah. And we're from Southern Maryland. Some people call us Smibs, and it makes us really upset. I don't think I've ever been called.
No.
Is that even real?
I want it to be.
I want it to be real. I had a job in Mount Jackson for a while, for like 6 months, and they were talking about Smibs in there. That's how I know about it.
Yeah, it seems very. If you don't live near
the tri-state?
there, yeah,
You don't know about it.
yeah. If you're from Oklahoma, you've never heard of a Smib.
You're an oob. You're an oob. More inbred than Maryland people. Probably.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What state's the most?
Probably, I'm assuming deep in the Bible Belt, like in Alabama or Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to assume. That's my, that's what I'm going to
Yeah, because there's a lot of southern states that are referred to as cousin.
Yeah, inbred. Alabama, I feel like.
And it's always like, not the one I'm from.
No, not that one.
Yeah. If you're from West Virginia, it's Kentucky. Mm-hmm. If you're from Kentucky, it's Tennessee. If you're from Tennessee, it's Alabama.
It's not Virginia, though.
It's never Virginia.
No, it's never Virginia. We got DC and all the rich people in Carlson Mountain. They offset the inbreeding.
Exactly.
Bunch of Smibs in our audience. Comment down below if you're a Smib. Thank you. Today we're talking about the Snallygaster, which I know everybody here who's watching this right now knows about. Okay, the Snallygaster in 1909. You know about the Snallygaster?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of it. I don't know much about it though. In 1909, a newspaper in rural Maryland published a story about a one-eyed dragon with octopus tentacles and a metal beak that was terrorizing the countryside. The story got so big that the Smithsonian Institution offered a cash reward for the creature's hide. Teddy Roosevelt reportedly even considered postponing his African safari trip in order to hunt it personally.
Oh my goodness.
I love the 1900s. Imagine that. That's the biggest worry in the world.
Yeah.
Is you're just like, it's not World War I yet. And you're just like, nothing going on.
Yep.
And then like, we got news from Maryland. There's a 20-foot Snallygaster. I'll hunt it. The president is interested in hunting it. 23 years later, the creature's drowned in a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine, which the federal government then blew up with 500 pounds of dynamite before the body could be examined.
Why would they do a thing like that?
Oh, no, wouldn't it? When you die, when you suspend in alcohol, doesn't it like preserve you?
You'd think.
Unless it started fermenting and made Snallygaster moonshine.
Yeah, maybe that was, they drowned it. Maybe that was the only way they could kill it. Was by luring it into a vat of moonshine.
Interesting. What do you think the logic is behind the moonshine? Does it like it? Is this during Prohibition?
No, not... Well, we don't really... 23 years later.
So 1932?
That's right in there.
Yeah, that's... I don't know when Prohibition was lifted.
Like,
I think that's just after Prohibition. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they had all that moonshine.
Comment down below, Smibs. This is a creature that sounded like it was designed by a group of 5-year-olds, but underneath the absurdity became one of the darkest stories in American history. It became a weapon of racial terror. It was a cover story for bootleggers. It became a political metaphor. Then, it was a beer festival and an ice cream flavor. We should talk about the Snallygaster.
Isn't that what we're doing?
I think that's what we're doing this episode. This episode is that. Also, let me look up smib really quick because we could actually get deleted off YouTube if it's a real slur. So I got to be careful. Snallygaster episode, deep dive Snallygaster. Aliens are real. Did you hear about that?
I did.
They're releasing aliens. We have our little, our South American friend here.
Ahead of the curve.
We're way ahead of the curve. I've had this corpse for almost 2 years now. A year and a half. Little guy. Little rascal, little rapscallion. Go back in your little coffin. My wife made you. He's like a little powdered donut. What is the Snallygaster? Where does the name come from? Snailgast? Smelly jester? It's a poor, butchered pronunciation of Schnellergeist in German, which means quick spirit or quick ghost. German immigrants brought the concept to Maryland in the 1700s, and over generations, Snellergeister became Snallygaster. To those who beheld the Snallygaster, they were presented with a terrifying image. Half reptile, half bird, with a dragon-like body, a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, enormous wings, 12 to 14-foot wingspan, claws like steel hooks that might have even glowed red with heat. Oh, shit. I think they made that last part up. Octopus-like tentacles, sometimes coming from the mouth, other times the arms, and a single eye like a cyclops in the center of its forehead. Screeches like a train whistle. It could change size, shape, and color at will.
I'm starting to think this thing ain't real.
It sounds like bullshit. It swoops down, though, silently from the sky, snatching children and farm animals. Its victims have their blood sucked. Ain't they dicks, though? Vampire style. Why did he write that in there? Why did he talk about dicks? Vampire style, through the neck with its beak. So this thing would suck you dry.
With its beak.
With its beak.
Metal beak.
Yeah, and then it'd claw you with its hot fingers. It lays eggs so large they could hatch a full-grown man. That's a funny image, at least to me.
Yeah, I like that.
That is funny to think about. Imagine an egg so big it could hatch a full-grown man.
What's even funnier is imagining now full-grown man in a Snallygaster nest getting fed.
That is funny. I like that. And could be repelled by 6 to 8 pointed stars. Huh? Like a Star of David? Or is that a 5 point? How many points is a Star of David? I think it's 5. Oh, no, is it 6? Apparently you can repel this thing with it, which were oftentimes painted on barns and can still be seen in Frederick County today.
Star of David is 6 points.
Is it? Shit,
6
man, write the
point.
damn Star of David on there.
So
and get rid of that damn
six to 8
German
point
monster.
star. That's a lot of stars.
It's a point, a lot of points.
Well, a lot of stars. That's a lot of different types of stars.
Frederick County, Maryland.
Frederick County, Maryland.
Not Virginia.
No.
We're from Virginia.
Yeah.
We don't like Maryland.
Yeah, I think that needs to be clarified. There's a lot of Frederick counties.
There is. A lot of guys named Frederick when they were naming counties. And they didn't realize that there was like Fredericks down here and there were Fredericks up here and then they're really close together and they're just naming shit. And then they look at a map, they're like, we named everything the same thing. A lot of Winchesters, too. Frederick County, Maryland is less than 50 miles from Washington, D.C. This area, particularly the South Mountain region, the Middletown Valley, and Braddock Heights. There's also a Middletown in Frederick County.
Yes.
Which in Virginia. So this is really confusing. I'm gonna get naked and run around in circles. These areas are where it was primarily sighted. The South Mountains are part of the Blue Ridge Range, and it supposedly lived in the region's caves. What's odd is I don't know I've never really heard of this thing as a local legend.
Nope.
But at the same time, I mean, what cryptids did we hear of? Grandpa always talked about the skunk ape.
Yes, that was the big one.
That was the big one.
Which they're not even really from there.
They're like Louisiana.
Yeah.
South.
Yeah.
Skunk ape and Abaguchi.
That's a big one.
Dude.
That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah. That's the only one we've seen in real life. A real Abaguchi.
Yeah.
A head.
Guy killed one, your neighbor.
Straight up. He went under the fence of the Smithsonian.
Which was just mentioned.
He went under the fence of the Smithsonian and killed an Abaguchi. That's a real tale. That's a real tale we heard. For those of you who don't know, the Abaguchi resembles the ass of a deer. It looks like a deer's ass, but it has a face and like a tail on its head.
Yeah. Ass of a deer, face of a coyote.
100% scary as 100% creepy mother. Like the Snallygaster. But I've never really heard of the Snallygaster in real life. When the German immigrants settled in Frederick County, they brought their superstitions along with them. One of these traditions was the Wild Hunt, a time when gods, spirits, ghosts, and demons, and any spectral entity would race across the sky. And also, it's in The Witcher. Yep, Wild Hunt. I don't know if it's similar, though.
I think it is. I think it seems to be, I don't know enough about that one either, so I'm speaking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure they're both pulled from the same...
Lore?
Lore.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep.
I know the Red Baron is in there.
Yep.
In that game. He's got pizzas. The Schnellergeist was supposedly a part of this ecosystem of fear, or at least borrowed from this belief, where you would get swept up in it if you so much as looked. People would lay face down on the road to avoid looking at the wild hunt if they were caught outside with no shelter. What the is the wild hunt? And let's think of that about this scientifically. Things streaking across the sky just like a meteor blowing up? Or something?
Yeah, comets and stuff.
Comet? Yeah, Halley's Comet. Mm-hmm. And they think it's ghosts.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Don't look at that. That's going to steal your soul. That's like people who thought when they got their picture taken, they would capture their soul in the 1800s.
They were right.
They were right about that shit. Let's be honest, guys. The hex stars were painted on barns to ward off evil during these wild hunts. It's a tradition that persists even today. But here's the thing. The researcher, Susan Fair, made a critical discovery while writing her book, Mysteries and Lore of Western Maryland. She went looking for the Snallygaster and South Mountain Magic, the definitive 1882 collection of Western Maryland folklore. It contains every myth, every legend, and every ghost story that German settlers told. The Snallygaster isn't even in it. It's not mentioned one single time, which means the creature everyone thought was an ancient Germanic legend might not be that old at all, according to this woman. The real origin story was likely much more recent than anyone had thought. In early 1909, New Jersey was becoming plagued with reported sightings of the Leeds Devil, which we now call the Jersey Devil. People were seeing tracks in the snow, flying creatures in the sky over towns, and it created a media frenzy, and papers were selling like crazy. The first cryptid sighting, the Jersey Devil. You seen
First
it?
cryptid? I'm not from there.
Me neither.
I've only been in New Jersey once, and it smelled like garbage.
Me too. I've been, I think twice. I think we went to Boston twice, and both times we were in New Jersey like for a minute or something.
Yeah.
There's just like a road, I guess, that runs through.
Yeah, I get 95.
Is it 95?
Yeah,
Just
going
runs-
up 95 through New Jersey, one, you can't pump your own gas. That's weird. And it smells.
You ever been to the Pine Barrens?
Nope.
Me neither. You ever heard of the Red Baron?
Yes.
Loves pizza. Imagine working at a small town newspaper in rural Maryland watching the Jersey Devil story get national attention. The Smithsonian got involved, thinking it was a prehistoric creature that had survived. Apparently, the Smithsonian got involved and thought the Jersey Devil was a prehistoric creature? Interesting. I thought that's what it said about the Snallygaster.
I think we might be getting there.
I think we might be.
Of they like just making shit up and
They
can't
just-
be trusted, and it's all media attention, and it's all big old just yellow. What is that called? When like yellow newspapers, yellow
no.
papers, when they're just fake, made
Corporate
up.
media?
Basically, yeah.
What are they?
But the old version of that.
Yeah, there's another name for the newer ones. Like you go into the grocery store. What are those called? I keep wanting to call it tributary, but it ain't a tributary. When you go into the grocery store and it's like there's a love triangle between Michael Jackson, Khloe Kardashian, and Brad Pitt.
Oh, tabloid.
Tabloids.
Yes. Yes, tabloids.
Yes. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about? Early forms?
Or yeah, kind of. Like when they first, this is around the time when they were first realizing that they could make up the news and it sell well.
That's so funny. Clickbait.
Yep.
Yellow newspapers.
I think that's what they were called.
That's cool. The Yellow Pages.
That's a
Phone book.
Yes.
An editor at a small, quiet town where nothing ever happens could look at that ridiculous drawing of a Leeds/Jersey Devil and think, I could absolutely do that over here in our mountains. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I could sell newspapers. Just make some shit up.
We should start.
I kind of do on YouTube.
Yeah, but actual newspapers.
Interesting.
We should start another business where we bring back,
The printing press.
yes,
It comes full circle.
subscription-based print media.
Subscription-based print media. Yeah, because if you think about Sour Boys, if you think about Spooky Skeletons, well, I guess we talk about conspiracies and stuff. But all the cryptid stuff, I mean, it's like, Snallygaster! It's not much different. It's just that they're, they're just like fully making it up and we're just talking about the shit that they made up.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it seems like. I believe in it. George C. Roderick was an editor and publisher of the Middletown Valley Register, and he likely did just that while sitting at his desk. Slander this poor guy. Before we look at George, we need to look at his partner, a man who wrote over 650 novels and agreed to write fake eyewitness accounts from Ohio. This is looking really bad.
Yes, it is.
They just straight up made this all up.
Yep.
Thomas Chalmers Harbaugh, or T.C. Harbaugh, was a prolific novelist who'd written over 650 dime novels and nickel novels. By the way, we were talking about AI a few weeks ago. This was something that was brought up where like every time something new and interesting comes out or that like captures people's attention, people are like, this is going to make everybody stupid and ruin our society. And there was the same problem we have with like brain rot.
Yeah.
They
with
had
dime
with
novels.
dime novels
Yep.
and nickel novels in the 1800s. When they first came out, they were worried, like there was newspaper headlines about people being worried that this was going to
Yeah.
ruin society.
Yeah. Here, what's going to make the people stupid? Reading.
Yeah, reading made up shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been making shit up forever.
I think it's good for you. I think it is good for your creativity and imagination, and just keeps the brain going.
And the people who are going to be made dumber through this, they're a lost cause already. Not
Yeah.
to be mean, but like, you don't really need that many people to continue a society moving forward in the right direction.
Yeah.
You don't need that many people. It's fine if the majority of people are just, working and buying and selling and contributing in some way. And then they're just like, who cares, really? I don't give a f-. He was a personal friend of Roderick's, and even though he was a native of Middletown, he was writing from Casstown, Ohio. This would have made it look like an independent, out-of-state sighting. In February 1909, the Valley Register published a front-page story reporting that a man named Bill Gifferson was walking along a country road when a winged creature swooped down from the sky, snatched him up, pierced his jugular with its needle-like beak, drained his blood, and flung his lifeless body over a cliff into a ravine. They just made all that up? That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's insane. Sucked him dry.
Yeah.
Pierced his jugular vein. Got that sumbitch. Patrick Boyton, the leading Snallygaster historian and author of Snallygaster, The Lost Legend of Frederick County, notes that the story has no eyewitnesses. I don't know why I find this so funny. Bill Gifferson certainly doesn't count because he was dead. Sucked dry, I say. So who saw this? Unclear. There is another piece of this first article that we're going to hold off on sharing for now because we need to cover just how insane things got before we look at that detail and how that detail will change everything about the story. We'll come back to it. Right, we'll come back to it because it is f***ing crazy. Then there was a second sighting, this one from T.C. Harbaugh. Known liar. The paper received a letter from a stranger in Ohio who described seeing a gigantic monster with two immense bronze-like wings and an enormous head with horns and a tail that was 20 feet long that had carried a man away, headed towards Middletown. Imagine just seeing that.
Imagine saying you saw that.
I saw this. I could imagine that.
They lose me with the metal.
Yeah, the
stuff.
metal stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you make it seem like it was metal?
Maybe it's like the turn of science fiction starts getting a bit popular or something. And they're like, there's metal in the sky.
Fair.
Aeroplanes. Ever been to North Carolina? After the second sighting, they came rolling in as wary people kept their eyes on the sky for this new aerial threat. In the third sighting, the first organic sighting, a man near Cumberland found the Snallygaster cooling its wings over the outlet of a brick kiln. Cooling its wings over a kiln? Wouldn't that be hot?
I would think so.
When disturbed from its nap, it emitted a blood-curdling scream and flew away angrily. What do you think the scream sounded like?
Ah!
That's really good, because it probably sounded nothing like that. That was just a guy scream. That's really good. I knew you were going to have something like that. This, that's what the cryptid sounded like.
Blood curdling.
I love that. Yep, I'm sure that is exactly what it sounded like. It was sighted near Hagerstown as well, then near Burkittsville, where it reportedly laid an egg the size of a barrel.
You could fit a full-sized human in that.
I bet. And when the human was birthed out of the full-size barrel egg, what did it sound like? In a ridiculous sighting, apparently this one's ridiculous, another man working a brick kiln reportedly spotted the Snallygaster drinking 100 gallons of boiling water before it said, "My, I'm dry. I haven't had a good drink since I was killed in the Battle of Chickamauga."
The creature said that? Apparently. Maybe it did sound like, oh!
My, I'm dry. I haven't had a good drink since I was killed in the Battle of Chickamauga. For context, the Battle of Chickamauga was a Civil War battle near Chattanooga, Tennessee, where over 16,000 Union and over 18,000 Confederate soldiers died, making it the second most costly of the war behind Gettysburg. So not only is the Snallygaster talking, but supposedly is a reincarnation of a soldier that died in the Civil War that was drinking 100 gallons of boiling water. We need to ask Shane Gillis about this. He knows a lot about the Civil War.
He does.
It was going from blood-drinking predator to more of a chatty ghost with one-liners. Sightings spread to New Jersey, West Virginia, and of course, Ohio. Not Virginia?
Apparently not.
We just immune to this.
Yep,
we got our
right
own
around
valley.
it.
Yep, we got our own little valley. What's a cryptid from Northern Virginia? Northern West Virginia. Aside from the damn skunk ape. But he's not even there.
Yeah.
My grandfather, I feel like he might just been making shit up. Wampus beast. Or no, did he talk about that? Sheep squatch.
Sheep squatch.
He also talked about that.
It seems like Grandpa is just a big fan of the ape ones.
You know what he used to tell me all the time, though? Architeuthis. That's just a giant squid, though.
Yeah.
That's like the scientific name for a giant squid. But I didn't know what that was when he's like, Architeuthis go get you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the f does that mean, Grandpa? Giant squid.
In Northern Virginia?
What's funny is that I think that was before they proved the existence of the giant squid. So he was ahead of the curve.
Interesting.
Architeuthis. What other stuff? I feel like there's other creatures that he talked about.
There's the great white ape.
Our fathers saw that.
Our fathers saw that.
They hid under the kitchen counter with firearms when they were like 10 and 13 years old. Because the great white ape peered in the window. We've heard that story. That's true. That's a true story. The great white ape. That is funny that they got that scared. They saw an ape.
Yeah, what could they have seen?
I don't know.
That was white. That was so scary for them to hide under a table.
Maybe just a guy, a white guy. Probably just a white fella. Anyways, back to the Snallygaster. Reportedly, the Smithsonian had even offered a reward for its hide, something that was valued at $100,000 a square foot. And President Teddy Roosevelt even allegedly considered canceling his trip to Africa to hunt the beast himself. Roosevelt, who had led the Rough Riders charge up San Juan Hill in the Spanish-American War, was shot mid-speech in Milwaukee on the campaign trail and continued speaking for nearly an hour while shot. He wanted to hunt the Snallygaster.
If anyone could find it and kill it, it's him.
Yep. Robin Williams from the Smithsonian. Night at the Museum, or whatever it's called. The thing is, there's no direct evidence that Roosevelt commented on the Snallygaster. Same with the Smithsonian. It was seeming more and more like these were being made up to create more legitimacy in the story. This next section is called Plot Twist, so that's pretty exciting. I love it whenever it tells me. Okay, guys. Plot twist incoming. There's something about that first headline that we were holding back, and it is the fact that the very first article that ever covered the story of the Snallygaster ran under the headline, "The Colored People Are in Great Danger." According to the same article, the Snallygaster only attacks colored people since it was a native of Senegambia, where only colored people live, and so it has never acquired the taste for white persons. And the value of its hide being $100,000 is because supposedly it was the only known substance that could polish punctal shells used by the African tribes of Oompaville.
Which is not even a real place.
Point that out on a map for me. Where's Oompaville? Where's Senegambia? That's, I assume, just a made-up Senegal and...
The Gambia. Well...
Is Senegambia? It might be a region.
Maybe it might have, because Senegal surrounds the Gambia.
Okay.
I could see maybe back then, this is right before a lot of the Western African colonialism ended, they might have been one place.
Okay. Senegambia. At the very least, a region.
Yes.
Because you could call a lot of places that.
Absolutely.
But what about Oompaville?
That one's just made up and not real at all.
That seems... I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah.
Oompaville. The second story, the one written with the letter from T.C. Harbaugh, claimed that a man had been carried off towards Middletown, but the story claimed he was the only black man of Casstown, Ohio. So this Snallygaster is...
Racist piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a racist. That is crazy. Not only were people just making shit up, but they were also just... weaving in their own bigotry into cryptids.
Yeah.
They're like, let's make a cryptid that's metal and racist. That's literally what they did.
Yeah, that is exactly what they did. Don't worry, fellow white folks. It won't come after you. What are they saying?
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Given these details, I think we know which side of the Civil War the Snallygaster was fighting for. All right. It was happening during a very specific political movement. Maryland's legislature was trying to strip voting rights from black Americans through three efforts. The Poe Amendment in 1905, Maryland Governor Austin Crothers vowed to eliminate the illiterate and irresponsible black voters from Maryland's electorate in 1908, and the Diggs Amendment in 1910. All required literacy tests and property ownership to gatekeep voting, and at the time of the Poe Amendment, the Civil War had ended only 40 years prior. The idea of slavery and racism ran extremely deep, even in the yellow journalists of the time, writing their yellow newspapers, just making shit up. The Snallygaster was quite literally used as a political weapon.
Yeah, that is insane. It really sums it up that it's just fake.
It's just
and not real.
bullshit.
It's a story of a creature that could only exist in that time of history.
And it's got metal wings. That doesn't make sense.
Nope.
It died at some battle in the Civil War. That doesn't make sense. It sucks the blood of people. That's probably the most logical part of the whole thing. They put the Snallygaster in Fallout 76? Mm-hmm. Did they know about this?
Probably not.
Because it seems like that's not a good thing to put in your game.
Yeah. Well, in the game, it's not racist.
It's the alternate reality Snallygaster.
Yeah, in the game, it hunts everyone.
But doesn't Fallout take place post World War II? Isn't that where our histories are? Don't we share the same? Wouldn't this history of the Snallygaster be the exact same?
Up until 1947, and then the Snallygaster opened. It tried a white person and tasted it. They taste just the same.
It realized that they're the same.
And then since then, up until whenever Fallout 76 takes place, they eat everybody.
It isn't in 2077?
That's when the bombs fell.
How many years after the bombs fell does it take place? It's less than Fallout 4.
It's like 25 years or
It's
something
not
like
long.
that. Yeah.
Oh well.
Anyways.
23 years later, in 1932, the Snallygaster came back. It had vanished for decades, but it was not gone for good. George C. Roderick had died, leaving the Valley Register to his son, George C. Roderick III, who revived the story. The Snallygaster hoax was literally a family heirloom, passed from generation to generation like a treasured recipe or a watch. Son, one day all this can be yours. The printing press, the subscription list, and the racist tentacled dragon. In 1932, Franklin Roosevelt had vowed to end Prohibition if he was elected president of the Democratic National Convention. He won by a landslide, and 10 days later, the Valley Register began running stories on the Snallygaster again. So we were mentioning Prohibition. It ended right before.
Then. Yep.
Yeah. The paper had been pro-prohibition and was using the creature to take political shots just as it had in 1909, though this time it was using it for anti-alcohol politics rather than for racism, which is a step in the right direction, I feel like. Let's be real. These new articles alleged that the creature was attracted to the smell of moonshine and would attack moonshiners to get their illegal gun. These people are so
Oh
stupid.
my goodness.
I've got an idea. I'm gonna make some more shit up. I'm gonna lie a lot. Guess what? You make moonshine, you're getting f***ed up by a Snallygaster.
Imagine being a moonshiner and stopping your operation because you heard that story.
Watch out for the Snallygaster. Yeah, see? I don't know why people probably didn't have transatlantic accents in Frederick, Maryland. Maybe they did. Did the average the average person didn't have a transatlantic accent. That was just news people.
Yeah.
Yeah, just radio folks, radio boys. Yeah, see? What's weird is that moonshiners in the mountains had been using the Snallygaster too, just for their own reasons. They attributed the sound of their stills, the metallic screeching and explosions and hiss of boiling mash, to the Snallygaster. They circulated stories about a beast that would carry off men who strayed too deep in the mountains to discourage curious locals from finding their still sites. The folklore that the region had created as a tool of racial terror was being used by these bootleggers to shield their illegal whiskey operations. It's potentially the most Appalachian story in history. The Snallygaster used by both pro and anti-alcohol groups to go hand in hand for the story's conclusion. Is it the most Appalachian story in history?
Maybe the most Appalachian cryptid.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
But I feel like the Wampus Beast's Appalachian, I believe.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's too south of North Carolina. That's maybe outside of...
I mean, a lot of them like fit in that region because like the Mothman's there. But he's so local to a single...
Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
Plus the, what's the other one? It's in Fallout 76.
I think they pretty much all are.
The Flatwoods Monster, and then there's... I'm trying to think of it.
Which one's just the alien?
That's the Flatwoods Monster.
That's the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a G.
Garloid.
No. Flatwoods Monster is the...
Talking about the Grafton monster?
Grafton
Yes.
Monster. Yep, that's what I was thinking of. The Grafton Beast. The Grafton Monster. Yeah, that's this big sumbitch.
Yes.
That big one. There is, in Fallout 76, there's an alien, the Beast of Beckley, the Blue Devil, the Flatwoods Monster, the Grafton Monster, Jersey Devil, Megasloth, Mothman, Ogua, Sheep Squatch, Smiling Man, Snallygaster, and Wendigo. I'm gonna look at this Snallygaster. Whoa, that looks cool.
Yeah, they're a lot smaller than this makes them seem, and they don't look like they fly.
No, that's sweet. So it's a different thing. They just took the name.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the most Appalachian story in history. There's plenty of more Appalachian stories. I didn't write that, so. Supposedly, the Snallygaster was flying over Frog Hollow in Washington County when it was attracted by the aroma of a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine. As it flew overhead, it became intoxicated by the fumes of alcohol and fell out of the sky into the boiling mash. It drowned in the vat. The boiling mash dissolved the remains, leaving just a skeletron behind. 2 revenue agents, George Dansforth and Charles Cushwa, had been tipped off to the illegal still and reportedly detonated 500 lbs of dynamite under the still, obliterating the entire moonshine operation as well as any evidence of the creature. So the feds are destroying the evidence.
Yeah, I mean, well, this still says that boiling mash dissolved the remains. That makes more sense than just like
falling in a vat of moonshine.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
preserve you.
That would preserve you, yeah. So you're getting boiled. Your skin's falling off, and there's going to be a delicious soup. Like a hominy stew.
But it's metal. So if it's metal, why would it boil away?
I think we might have found a plot
There's a
hole.
lot of holes in this.
I think you found a plot hole, Clint, of this story. I think Clint may have just found another plot hole. I guess one of those barrel-sized eggs must have hatched because 2 years after this, a hunter reported killing a strange bird 4.5 feet tall with a 6-foot wingspan and was speculated to have been the offspring of the Snallygaster. There's also the thunderbird.
Yes.
Big old sumbitch. Out of all cryptids, that's the most likely, I feel like, because that's like there's large
Just
birds.
a big bird.
There's large birds that lived not that long ago. Even there's a type of condor that is extinct that in the 1800s was alive that was gigantic.
Yeah.
California condor?
Is that the biggest one?
Maybe.
Yes.
Is it?
California condor?
Yeah.
That's the biggest condor?
Yes. Biggest wingspan, too.
okay.
California condor.
One of the most unique aspects of the Snallygaster is how Marylanders kept invoking its name with any kind of current event. In July of 1947, after a flying saucer was sighted, the Frederick News essentially blew raspberries at it, saying that UFOs caused little reaction in the Middletown Valley. Middletowners have had Snallygasters to talk about since 1909. A little light-up frisbee doesn't impress them when they have an alcoholic, tentacled Civil War ghost dragon, I guess. 2 years later, when Maryland passed the Subversive Persons Act, which requires loyalty oaths for public office candidates, it was reported that the Snallygaster had not only been spotted, but had been quoted as saying it was trying to escape the Oberbill. What? So there's like people under oath saying this thing is real?
It seems like it.
That's honestly pretty crazy. Shit, I believe it. Just kidding. If it was 2026, the Snallygaster would be a political commentating Twitch streamer. That's a pretty good joke. Didn't write it. During the 1950s, when Wisconsin Senator Joseph McCarthy was leading anti-communist witch hunts, McCarthyism, in the U.S. State Department, a period commonly referred to as McCarthyism, he was compared to the Snallygaster on several occasions. President Truman got a standing ovation during a speech in which he hit back at criticism over his foreign policy by calling Senator McCarthy the top Snallygaster of the Republicans. What the f*** is a Snallygaster?
Maybe I don't know.
Snallygaster rather than Snallygaster, but the effect is essentially the same, though it is also used to describe a shrewd person.
Okay.
Interesting. I was once described as a shrewd businessman during a negotiation.
You snollygaster.
I'm a Snallygaster, not a Snallygaster, all right? That's unbelievably rooted in racism.
Yes.
I'm a Snallygaster, maybe.
Snollygaster. Snallygaster. You don't want to be called that.
Snallygaster is just a sumbitch, basically. Whittaker Chambers, an author and journalist, would also use the Snallygaster as a metaphor for Senator Joseph McCarthy, calling him a national Snallygaster, a winged hobgoblin used to frighten naughty children in parts of rural Maryland. A hobgoblin. I think that's a term to just describe like a boogeyman.
I've heard Hillary Clinton referred to as such by Alex Jones.
A sulfuric beast. Now the Snallygaster is still being used in branding for various products and establishments. Do they know? Do they know about the beginning of this thing? Sarah Cooper, a traveling nurse and cryptozoologist, opened the American Snallygaster Museum in Libertytown, Maryland in 2021. It began in her kitchen where she built a barn for the permanent collection. The Instagram for the museum has nearly 65,000 followers, and Sarah hosts pop-up events at breweries, cryptid conferences, and other celebrations. I need to go to a damn cryptid conference. Sounds like fun.
I didn't know those were a thing.
Me neither. People believe in cryptids that much? I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Seems like it.
Interesting. The Snallygaster Beer Festival started in D.C. and has become the beastliest beer festival bar none. With 450 beers from 175 breweries, with 8,000 attendees, it has been voted best beer festival in D.C. every year from 2013 to 2019 and 2022. Take that, pro-prohibitionists that tried using it to keep alcohol bans in place. Cryptid that allegedly died drowning in a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine is now the namesake of DC's biggest beer festival.
Wouldn't a pro-prohibitionist just be a prohibitionist?
Yes. A pro-prohibitionist would be a prohibitionist. It's written as the pro-prohibitionist, though.
It is. It is written as such.
What's that word that your brother always used to say that that's a double?
Irregardless?
Irregardless. Yeah. But if you look it up, it's people do say it.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, regardless.
Regardless.
It's the same thing.
Irregardless. You're adding like irregardless. 2 more syllables.
Unnecessary.
Era. Yeah. What in the Take that, prohibitionists! Pro-prohibitionists! Anti-hibitionists. The proceeds of the festival also benefit Arcadia, a nonprofit running farm education programs and mobile farmers markets in underserved neighborhoods. That's pretty cool. Given that the Snallygaster was invented to fuel racist ideology and terrorize black communities, it has gone on an ironic redemption tour. The Snallygaster has become something sweet rather than fearsome, which must be why it became the name of an ice cream flavor made with peanut butter ice cream, chocolate peanut butter cups, pretzels, and a caramel swirl.
Sounds pretty good.
Delicious. Yummy. Oh, yeah. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the story on the Snallygaster, comment down below. Drop a like if you want to see us cover any other cryptids. What else do you want us to talk about? Maybe the Moon Man. Maybe the Man on the Moon.
Is there enough there?
I don't know, but I only know 2 of them. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And Charles Duke, I know 3. And then there's another one that I forget his name. But I know his name.
I don't know.
But there's like 11 people or something that have landed on the moon. I only know 3 of those guys.
Yeah, all the with the moon landing stuff, it's interesting. The only focus is on the first one.
Weird.
What's up with that?
There's like multiple Apollo missions. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.
See ya.